Obviously, quick turnaround. I've said that a lot this year. Third game here this week. In whatever it's been, 5 or 6 days. I think everybody's experienced that, but it's something you're aware of as a coach. Indiana team that is really good, playing very well, and is especially really good at home. Got a terrific home environment. Very difficult to play there, as all of us who follow college basketball know. They've got obviously a couple guys playing really well, and again, they're guys that when they came here last year really hurt us, and those guys are all back. So they've got a couple guys that I think are bona fide all-conference type players, and we'll need to be ready to go. So hopefully we have a good day of preparation today.
Chris, I know you've talked about obviously the day-to-day approach you've had really all season, but there was a time not long ago where it looked like if you guys had won this game, you would have clinched a share of the Big Ten championship. And I'm just curious, like in general, how you view that goal in any season, not just this one. Like if you have this sort of day-to-day approach, but obviously you want to get some stuff in the rafters too. So just how do you approach that goal of winning the league?
Well, obviously that's an outstanding accomplishment. Anytime you can do that, and to be able to do that is, something guys remember for the rest of their lives, because it's rare. It's rare to be able to do that, and I think that to position ourselves in a season like this, to have a chance at that is pretty special. But it's an outstanding accomplishment, and I think you looked at our closing schedule, and I sensed that this was going to be a difficult road, but things can still happen, and what we have to worry about right now is what we can do.
And I know you guys did not really talk about it all that much, your positioning, but when you did sort of lose the ability to control your own destiny, did you sense anything with the guys, any kind of letdown in that regard?
No, not really. I mean, if it was, then I didn't sense it. Just because I think when you're going to play, 3 of your last 4 games are all on the road against teams in the upper half of your league. To really make any assumptions about, hey, this, if we do this, and this, and then we can get there, it's not, I think the focus did need to be, and always needs to be, on trying to prepare for the one in front of you and then see what's happened. It would have been a little bit presumptuous for us as a coach to get too much into that, given what we had in front of us. 3 out of 4 on the road against all upper half teams. That's a tough deal.
Looking at the CU's game the other night, he hit 5 floaters.
Yeah.
I know that's something, it seems like he struggled with all season, though.
Yeah.
Maybe the most effective he's been. Why? Is that something you've been working with him on, or was that just a good night for him, or how have you seen him work on that specific part of his game?
Combination of both. We do work on it in practice, kind of in the pre-practice part of practice. We'll work on shooting floaters over kind of a device we have, basically an extended arm, and our managers do that. He's got. You're right. It's not something he's been especially efficient in, but he had it rolling the other night. His floaters were rolling the other night, so that was good to see. It was good to see him get in the paint.
And when things like that are going for him, you talk about it's been one of the tough stretch for him the last couple of games. How does that help the confidence? How does that help him going forward now to see some shots like that going down that haven't gone down all year?
Well, I think it certainly should help him. The biggest thing when you're a guy who's a college basketball player is, you cannot let a rough night or two lead into more rough nights, and let it affect your approach and your attitude and how you're progressing as a player. And because ultimately, if you do, it's going to be obvious. So I think for him, there's a toughness required to responding to kind of a difficult stretch in the course of a game, or a difficult stretch in the course of a conference season. And that's, good players have that toughness. They just kind of keep coming, and they just keep their head up and keep their chin up and keep plowing along. And, you know, Angela Duckworth calls it grit, and that's what it is. And good players have that.
You mentioned there were 2 guards last year who put up a lot of points in this gym.
They did.
In your game this year, you shut them down really well. What were you guys able to do in the last game that was able to limit their points?
Yeah, you know, they did miss some shots that you probably expect them to make at home a little bit more. I'd probably felt a lot better if we'd have done it there. But they probably missed some shots. Now, they got rolling on us in watching the film from the year prior here. They really got rolling on our guards. I thought we did a better job defending them. We're a little more conscious of them. You got to expect that they're going to play with you know, twice as much and they played with good energy, but again, that was a quick turnaround for them after an emotional game. But you know, we expect those guys to probably make more shots. What I think we did did do well is we have pretty good awareness of them. Johnson in particular, because he is, you know, we saw it the other day at 9 threes at Iowa, right? So he can really get it going. I've coached against him a couple times and always been really, really impressed with him as a player.
I'm sure you don't care too much about individual accolades, but we saw you the other night call Kata, you know, Big Ten Player of the Year, and then he called you the Coach of the Year. What are, obviously, don't care much about individual things, but to hear that from one of your players that you've only had for a couple months, what does that mean for you personally?
Well, that's a special comment that a young man makes. That he's a special kid. You know, he's a special kid, and I do believe he should be that. And he was probably just trying to make me feel good. That was nice of him.
Chris, if you ask the fan base, probably even the media, it's been a successful season no matter what happens. How do you describe it? Is that accurate? If it ended right now, is this a successful season?
Absolutely, but we've got work to do, and we've got a lot of challenges in front of us and a lot of fun stuff in front of us. But absolutely, you know, I would never say anything other than that for this group and this team. You know, I think it's been wildly successful, but we're hungry to do more and see what this group can be, and we have improvements to make, and I have to do a better job, and our players have to do a better job in a lot of areas, and that's what our focus is.
When you get late in the season, guys' legs sometimes go. You've done this long enough. Kata, well, how do you get through that? What can you as a coach do when guys are scuffling just a little bit?
Yeah, and I think we noticed it. You know, his 2 free throws at Michigan, I think we all remember that. Like, I haven't seen him shoot, you know, short all year like that. And he's carried such a heavy load for us. And Kata's a good athlete, but he's not an incredible athlete. Whereas JT, you know, you look at him from the waist down, his legs being so strong, he's a more powerful athlete. And he's able to kind of play through force a little bit more. But I think just as a coaching staff, and we've met on it the last couple of days, because I'm a little bit of a, full disclosure here, I'm a little bit of a grinder when it comes to practice. I like our guys to be hitting most practices, and we don't go 4 hours a day, but we're trying to work. So there's always that balance you're trying to find as a coach, and I think we're looking for the right balance with him right now.
Going back to the guard conversation, did you think you guys found something that maybe you were missing the last few games against Rutgers?
You know, I think it was good for those guys to see, you know, Cam coming back, making a few shots was good to see, because he had open looks against Michigan and he just missed them. So I think him seeing some shots go down is a good thing, and playing with aggressiveness. I think CJ the same way. But again, I don't. If those guys miss a couple shots tomorrow night, I don't feel like, hey, their confidence is zapped. I think they just got to continue to be aggressive and take good shots, and then if they do, kind of we'll live with the results, whatever those are, as long as they're good shots.
And what about handling that physicality? I mean, we talk
Yeah.
about that a lot.
Yeah, I think we got to get better with that. I think, because we're going to see that tomorrow. They did it to us here, and they'll do it to a way another level at home. So I do think we have to, we're going to try, it's this time of year it's hard because you want them to feel that in practice to get better in that area, yet at the same time, you want to be aware of the fatigue and the wear and tear on your guys. So that may be something that we get a little more into as we prepare for the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament, just trying to get better in those areas. But we'll show it to them in film, and we'll talk to them about playing stronger with the ball. Again, CJ and Katie have both logged a lot of minutes for us, and they're slighter in their builds, so they just have to play with a little more force.
And then Andrew mentioned the other night about his familiarity with Indiana, obviously, and the history, and he said that you probably do too. And I'm curious, from your time in the state and whatnot, what that program means to you, what you know of it, that kind of thing.
Well, it's an incredible basketball program, and incredible tradition. I think, I get, what people would define as blue bloods and not blue bloods, in today's college game, but it's certainly a program that's had, I don't know how many national championships, but multiple national championships and multiple Final Fours. And, they're a passionate fan base, and really passionate fan base. And playing against them, you get a real sense of that. When we played against them in the Crossroads, how passionate their fan bases are, and I thought Coach Green did a great job. I really did, and I'm sure Archie and the staff will do a tremendous job.
I know that you want all your players to be efficient, but Kata's efficiency is correlated to your team's success at a different kind of level. Do you sense at all him trying to force the issue, and because he is such a good shot maker and can make it in contested situations, does he have any more leeway to try to shoot his way out of it, or whatever you want to call it?
I think yes, he does have more leeway. Coaching secret here, your best players will always have a little more leeway. Sometimes it's hard for young players to understand, why does he get to shoot more and I get taken out when I turn it over? Okay, let me break this down for you right now. Okay. I'm going to be real specific about why we do that. We're trying to win, he does. I think you earn that right when you perform like he's performed, to have a little more rope. He has probably forced some things, and he's got to be aware of that. I think that's something we've tried to talk to him in film about, understanding when traps are coming, when double teams are coming, being willing, when even a secondary defender's coming. It's not necessarily a double team, but when a secondary defender's coming on his dribble, like it's happened a couple times. He'll get better. He'll get better with that. He has gotten better with it. It's something we got to continue to try to coach him better on. And again, he's so coachable that he gets it.